Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gre Namaha, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati, Om Namo Gurudev Namaha, Om Namo Gurudev Namaha, Om Namo Gurudev Namaha, Om Namo Gurudev Namo, Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, 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 Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, 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 Om Namah Shivaya. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. May there be peace, peace, peace. May there be joy, joy, joy. And we can dance, 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 and fill the world with Shanti, peace and Shanti, and Shanti, and Shanti. Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. Om Shanti. May there be peace, peace, peace. May there be joy, joy, joy. And we can dance, dance, dance. And fill the world with Shanti, peace. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. May there be peace, peace, peace. May there be joy, joy, joy. And we can dance, dance, dance. And fill the world with Shanti, peace. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Trayambakam yajamave Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Nityamukshiyamamrita Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Nityamukshiyamamrita. I am yours, you are mine. I am yours, you are mine. Om Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Nityamukshiyamamrita. Om Trayambakam yajamahe Sugandhim pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva bandhanam Nityamukshiyamamrita. Jai Ambe Bhavani Jagadambe Bhavani Jai Ma Jai Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Shri Ma Jagadambe Bhavani Jagadambe Bhavani Jai Ma Jai Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma. Jai Ma Bhavani, Jai Ma Bhavani, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jagadambe Bhavani, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Shri Ma, Jai Shri Ma. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Vignesharam Bajure Manasa Vignaharam Bajure. Hey, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Vignesharam Bajure Manasa Vignaharam Bajure. Hey, Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Shivaya, 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 Shivai, 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 Om Namah Shivai.
How about now? Now? I'll get these on off switches set one of these days. I was saying it's so beautiful to be able to join you in your homes, your rooms, your apartments, wherever you may be in the world. But it's such a beautiful joy to be able to join you there, to come together and be there with you from these sacred and holy banks of Mother Ganga, and to be able to bring into your home at this time, especially this time of lockdown, of fear, of stress, to be able to come into that home and bring these sacred and beautiful waters of Mother Ganga. We'll start, as always, with one of the questions that have come in advance, and then take whatever is there up for you who are joining us live. Any questions that you have, feel free to write them in and we'll take them. How do we enter into the divine romance with God? So it's an interesting way to think about it. There's other ways to think about it, but that love and connection with God. See, when most of us think of romance, we think of it as a drama. There's passion, there's games, there's courting, there's playing hard to get. There's all the sorts of games. Then, of course, there's jealousy, then there's even anger sometimes, there's frustration. We all know what romance is like. But when we talk about divine romance with God, it's not about a superficial level of drama. It's not about a game of hard to get. It's not about a game of jealousy and anger. Rather, what it's about is that coming together of two into one. Now, when we talk about the romance, a lot of times that comes out of the beautiful and sacred bhakti tradition, the tradition of Lord Krishna, the gopis, the tradition of the beautiful full moon dances where Lord Krishna manifests himself in an infinite number of forms and dances with all of the gopis. The divine play, the Leela. But that has a very sacred and very special meaning to it. When we know we are one, but we come together as two, re-becoming one, there is a joy and ecstasy that those in the bhakti tradition consciously engage in, even knowing we're one with God. So here's what it looks like. On all of our deepest, highest, most fundamental core levels, when our meditation is real and deep, when our awakening is real, we know we are one with God. We know there's no distinction. We know there's no place that I end and God begins. We feel God every minute, every moment, every breath, in the breath, as the breath. We see the divine everywhere. We recognize there is no place. Anything ends and God begins. It's all God. And being in love feels really beautiful. And so when we look at the bhakti tradition, what we call sometimes the dualist tradition, it's a tradition that consciously, knowingly says, yeah, I know it's all God. And being in love feels so good. So God doesn't mind. Look, Bhagwan Krishna became not only one in form, but so many in form, such that every one of the gopis, every one of the devotees could actually have her own Lord Krishna to dance with, could actually have her own divine Leela play with Krishna. So God is very compassionate. God doesn't mind. Do we pray to God, worship God, see God, experience God within our own hearts as one, in every breath, in every leaf, in every molecule? Or do we see God as the beloved and ourselves as the lover? And do we use that power of love to get closer and closer and closer to God? And that's this path of bhakti, of devotion. And yeah, sure, you can think of it as a divine romance. But if you do, think about it as a romance, the way that the divine Leela of Krishna is a romance. It's not about passion. It's not about sensual pleasures. It's not about momentary ecstasy that builds and peaks and is over in a few minutes. It's about the ecstasy of two becoming one. It's about the ecstasy of truly coming back into that oneness. And so to live in that divine romance is, oh God, come to me. Puja Swamiji sings this beautiful song, "Main to kab se teri sharan mein hoon, meri aur to bhi dhyan de." Oh God, I've been waiting for you for so long. Please, please just pay a little attention to me. That's the divine romance. Oh God, I've been waiting and yearning. मैं तो कब से तेरे शरण में हूँ, मेरी ओर तो भी ध्यान दे. Oh God, don't look at everyone else. Pay a little attention to me. मेरी ओर तो भी ध्यान दे. That's the divine romance. And then, like Lord Krishna became so many for all the gopis, be able to see God everywhere. This game of hide and seek. Oh God, there you are in the leaf. There you are in the tree. There you are in the bird. There you are in the mountain. There you are in this being in front of me. Oh God, come to me. Let that be the divine romance if you want to worship in that way. But let it be a romance that permeates every minute of your day and that brings you into that divine Leela. It's not about a way to excuse sexual promiscuity as spirituality. Tragically, a lot of people have that misconception. Oh, I'm just romancing God through all of these one-night stands. That is not what we mean, what anyone means by the divine romance. Rather, it's about I am able to experience God in all of creation and have that two becoming one in every breath, in every smell of the flower, in every chanting of God's name. And whatever I do becomes an offering to God, becomes that courting of God. So are you doing your dharma, your duty, your job? Can that be a way of getting closer to God or courting God? You're doing your prayers, your puja. That's a way of courting God. You're making dinner for the family. You're cleaning the floor. You're sweeping. That's a way of courting God. Like Shaburi, knowing from this path, from that path, from this path, Bhagwan Ram is coming. That's what we mean by the divine romance. That every minute of your life becomes an opportunity for two to become one.
Do you have any advice on how I can change my behavior in relation to those who are dominating?
In relation to?
Those who are dominating. I know I can't change others, just my actions and behavior. But I tend to give in, even if it hurts other people, just so I can avoid conflict.
So, a lot of people tragically think that giving in and giving up are synonymous with this spiritual virtue of surrender, of peace. Spirituality never says, thou shalt be a doormat. Spirituality doesn't say, become a slave to whoever it may be who wants to dominate you. Spirituality doesn't say, give up your freedom into another's ignorance or another's illusion or another's agenda or another's ego. Spirituality does talk about choosing peace and choosing love in every moment. But remember that that includes you. And so a lot of times when we think we're choosing love, we forget that we're supposed to also be choosing love for ourselves. When we think about choosing peace, we're supposed to be choosing peace for ourselves as well, not just for the person who's trying to dominate me or fight with me. And so, if you're being dominated, and especially if you're being dominated into doing things that you know are not right, not in alignment with your Dharma, not in alignment with spiritual truths, not in alignment with the higher purpose and meaning, not in alignment with the tenets, the virtues of spirituality, by going along with that, you're actually creating more conflict. Maybe not in the moment, but that's just a very, very superficial way of looking at it. Because what you're saying is, to avoid conflict in this exact time and space, this intersection of time and space, I'm going to allow the seeds of adharma, unrighteousness, to be planted, to sprout, to blossom. Picking up, uprooting a little sprout or a seed is much less violent than trying to uproot a tree. So, yeah, it disturbs the soil a little bit, but a lot less than trying to uproot a tree. And so if you're being dominated and pushed into acting in ways in which the roots of that tree are actually suffocating your heart and your spiritual awakening, enlightenment, opening, well, at some point you're going to have to uproot that. And once it becomes a tree, it's a lot more difficult and a lot more violent to uproot. So saying no is just as important as saying yes. Spirituality does not mean thou shalt always say yes. There's things sometimes we have to say no to. We say no to acting in ways, living in ways that are out of alignment with our truth, with Dharma, with our core spiritual beliefs, that are out of alignment with ahimsa, satya, right? You look at the yam and the niyam of a yoga practice. Anything out of alignment with those is something we need to learn to say no to. And anything that infringes upon your freedom, we need to say no. And it's also important to realize that that doesn't mean we have to change people. Somebody may still want you to act a certain way, to be a certain way, to think a certain way, to believe a certain way. And that act of simply wanting is not something that is forcing you. A lot of times we say, oh, I had to do it. This person wanted me to. Or I had to do it because if not, that person would get angry. We don't have to do things. What we have to do is live our truth, live our Dharma, live in connection to God, but also be wary of our ego. Because a lot of times, it's very easy for the ego to play as the one with your highest interest at heart. The ego's the one who says, for example, oh, your parents are taking away your freedom by making you go to school. You shouldn't have to go to school. School is just forcing you to do things you don't want to do. Now, if every kid went along with what their desires said, we'd have a population of kids roaming the streets rather than getting an education. If people say, oh, you know, my boss is really infringing upon my freedom by forcing me to sit at my desk all day and do this work, well, the boss has hired you to do that, and assuming that you're not working in a sweatshop, that you're not bonded labor, that you don't have working conditions that violate your human rights, assuming that you're free to get up and leave, recognize that your freedom is also not a license to do whatever you want, whenever you want, and to have everyone else just kind of go along with it. That your parents should say, oh, no problem, honey, you don't have to go to school. That your boss should say, oh, no problem, you don't want to do that? That's okay, I'll pay you anyway. Take the whole week off, go to the beach, no problem, on me. There are systems that we have to follow. We stop at red lights, even if there's no one around. Because if we don't, it ends up leading to more damage later on. And that's an important thing to realize, because a lot of people feel very oppressed by systems of school, their workplace, the laws that we have, and would love to be able to justify anarchy in the name of freedom. And that's where it's really important to realize that freedom is not a license to decadence or recklessness. The freedom we talk about is a freedom internally to live your Dharma, to have the spiritual awakening experience of knowing the truth of who you are, and externally to be able to live according to your morals, your values, your spiritual tenets, assuming, of course, they don't violate someone else. But recognize that you then also have to be prepared for the consequences. So if you say, for example, I don't want to do this, you have to be prepared for whoever you're saying that to then say, okay, but then I'm not going to have you as my employee anymore. Or, okay then, but maybe I don't want to be married to you anymore. And assuming that what they were asking you to do is not a violation of who you are, a violation of your human rights, they also have that freedom to respond to you in their freedom. And that's where it's really, really important to recognize what our freedom means. So if you're trying to simply avoid conflict by doing things that are not what you want, that are not in your highest spiritual calling, don't do that. But then have the courage to face whatever the repercussions are. It's not always easy. Taking steps away from what people around us want to do. It's not always easy. But it's the path to living your truest, highest life. I had almost no one who thought it was a good idea for me to leave America and come to India. But I knew it was my highest calling. But it took courage. And so, same thing in your life. If you know that something is your dharma, it may be difficult to live it. It may create a little bit of conflict. But that's worth it, because later on, you don't have to uproot a whole tree in order to actually live the truth of who you are. And lastly, realize also that sometimes creating a little bit of conflict for our loved ones actually isn't such a bad thing. Because sometimes that actually pushes them into a deeper level of awareness, a deeper level of having to look at themselves. When they realize they can't dominate you all the time, when they realize that you're not just going to live dancing according to their tune, fulfilling their agenda. If they are open and if they are courageous, they will look deeply inside. Your freedom will become a mirror in their face for their own freedom. And so in that way, even though it may be difficult, it's actually a great service to them. Your courage will lead to them finding the courage within themselves.
Lokesh Bhog on Facebook has asked, how do we be aware of the Atma in every transaction?
To be aware of Atma in every transaction, meaning every minute, every moment. Because of course you don't want to be aware of Atma only in transactions. You want to be aware of Atma in every breath, every minute, every moment. And we become aware by recognizing that Atma is the core of who I am. So I'm the one who is walking. I'm the one eating. I'm the one drinking. I'm the one working. Who is that I? Most of us are aware of the I in every moment, but we're aware of it physically. So, oh, this bubble bath feels really good on my physical body. This yummy meal feels really good. This hot cup of tea on a cold day or cold drink on a hot day feels really good. Or we're aware of the I on a mental level, an emotional level. How dare you look at me like that? That doesn't feel good. Don't be mean to me. Or, oh, that feels so good. She was so nice to me. So we actually are aware of I in almost every moment. But we're just aware of a much more shallow form of I than the deep form of I. And so being aware of Atma in every moment simply means dropping down into a deeper awareness of who I am. And that's where our meditative practice is so important, because if I don't have the awareness of I as Atma, as pure consciousness in my meditation, I'm not going to be able to bring it into every moment. I only bring it into every moment when I have it in the meditation. And then I bring my meditation and my meditative awareness into every moment. So as you meditate, make sure to have that awareness of who am I in your meditation. Make sure to have that practice of neti neti in the meditation, not this, not that, not the body, not the mind, not the emotions. When you have that awareness, it stays with you. Then into every moment. And it means staying conscious, really conscious in every moment. This is where practices of mindfulness come in. We learn to walk mindfully, to eat mindfully, to chew mindfully, to drink water mindfully. Everything we do to bring full awareness, full consciousness to it. Because when I'm fully aware and conscious, I know I'm not the body. I'm not this hand that is moving up and down. My brain is making the hand move up and down. But I'm also not the brain, because the brain keeps changing. And so in every moment, I have that opportunity to become aware of what I'm not, and therefore what I am. And there's a beautiful practice that I love. It's a practice I use personally, where in every moment, allow yourself, in addition to whatever your mantra may be, your guru mantra may be. I have another mantra in addition to the guru mantra, and that mantra is not self. It's just very simple. Not self. Not self. And it's easiest to do in moments of either the extremes of emotions. So, great joy. To remember in those moments, not self. Meaning whatever it is that I'm super happy about, something worked out really well. Even in that moment of great satisfaction, to remember not self. Or a moment of having and really enjoying a beautiful meal, to remember not self. Having a cool, beautiful shower on a hot day, the body goes, ah, but to remember, not self. And in the same way, on the emotional side, someone says something that feels really good, you get lots of praises, to remember, not self. And then you remember it on the negative side as well. Something happens. You feel disappointed, dejected, failure. To remember, not self. Something feels physically not so good to the body. Itchy mosquito bite, pain in the leg or the back. Remember, not self. And then similarly, with the emotions, someone says something that hurts. Something happens that hurts. You remember, not self. And as you remember what you're not, it automatically takes you back into what you are. So you could do it either way. For me, I like the practice of not self. But you could do it the other way. You could also say, Atma is self. You could say, Aham Brahmasmi. You could say, Soham. You could say whatever works for you to remind you. I am soul. I am spirit. I am love. I am consciousness. What matters is keep remembering. Keep doing it. And slowly, 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 that too will become a mantra in your mind. Not self, not self, and aham brahmasmi. So you'll remember that which you are not and that which you are. Have a beautiful few days. We will rejoin on Tuesday, our new satsang schedule during this time of lockdown. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, here at this sacred time of sunset, the time in which, when we're not on lockdown, by God's grace, Puja Swamiji is leading us in the Ganga Aarti. But during this time of lockdown, we join here on the banks of Ganga, together, in satsang, in the presence of truth. And so much love to all of you. In your cities, in your countries, in your homes. Until Tuesday.
To